Kevin Durant. He got
Why
into
Kevin
some.
Durant?
Nah, because he finally G checked the is known as Stephen A. Smith. I hate that Stephen A. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Really?
I ain't. I'm just
Stephen A. be
serious.
missing sometimes. But
I should start opening more tabs that say like,
just having the search bar.
what's it called? Stephen A. says Steph Curry changed
He
basketball
got
for the
Stephen
better.
A. blocked.
Yes, I don't like him. I don't like Stephen. Because they come with some dumb stuff. It's like, oh my god.
I just beat that. Yeah, that fat red block, yo. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Hey, y'all know
crazy.
Skip. Skip Bayless is blocked too. Like, come on.
You
bro.
blocked.
I just don't
can't block Skip.
I just
Skip's
don't
too funny
get
to
blocked
block.
like public figures. It's
Yeah,
like,
I
you
can't block
don't-
Skip. I can't block
Cause,
Skip.
bro, there's a couple of these basketball pages that I have blocked too. Cause I just don't want to hear the stupid take. Like, I don't want to hear it's time to have a discussion about Joe Johnson. Is it?
Nah, them random Saturday Joe Johnson or Vince Carter debates. I'm like, well,
Hey.
y'all bored?
Hey. We got to keep the memory of Jason Williams alive, bro. One, he's not dead. Two, y'all post him every other
Every
week,
month.
bro.
Yo, no cap, bro. There was it's not even that, but there was a space I was in 3 days ago. They were going crazy over a Jaylen Brown, Draymond Green debate. Yelling
like,
over
y'all
each
don't
other.
Care about,
I don't know if you've been in a space with Wes lately, but his voice has been like extra raspy. It was because of that space, bro. Bro was yelling to Kip for Jaylen Brown.
I was in that space. That was disgusting. I left pretty quick. I was like, all right, bro. I don't care that much, bro.
I don't know how
Stop
y'all be in space
disrespecting
every day.
Jaylen Brown. Like, dang.
I don't know how y'all be in space every day. Can't do it. I can't block some people though. Oh my, like Skip. Skip is too funny. Skip will just say some shit. I'm like, come on, old man.
I think he was talking. It was one specific tweet where, like, again, because LeBron hasn't been in the playoffs, and I think he was talking about ice cream or something like that. And he made the time to lump LeBron into a tweet.
Yes, like that. That shit is just funny to me, bro.
Nah, I don't need to.
So he likes strawberry shortcake, like how he came up short in 2011. Not my goat. Never been my goat.
But anyway, Skip Bayless, he's been going back and forth with Kevin Durant. Shannon Sharp has been going back and forth with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant says to Stephen A. I meant to say Stephen A. My theory is guys like Steve, Skip, and Shannon. Steve is nasty. Have changed the game for the worse. Has changed the game for the worse. Players like Steven and Michael can only push the game forward. Okay. I think he's talking about Stephen. Oh, Stephen. This is Stephen. Stephen. Yeah, I believe so. They can. I get only. And again, the take from Stephen A. is Michael Jordan is responsible as much as anybody for changing the game for the worse. I don't know what specifically he said. This is like a 40-minute clip, so I'm not finna play it for us. But there's no basis for this. No matter what he says in this video, there's no basis for Michael Jordan making the game worse. There's no basis.
There's no basis. I was trying to read it. It says
Eli clip, bro. Eli clip. Go ahead.
Oh my God. There's no basis for him saying that Stephen Curry has changed the game for worse. Like KD said, and I do agree with him. Stephen A, Skip, Shannon, all these people, he don't like Shannon Sharp because his teeth fake. They make the game worse. They have changed the game for worse. Stephen A rebuts ... News for you, KD Trey 5. We ain't going any damn place. For every Stephen A. Smith, Skip, Shannon Sharp, and others, there's thousands more coming down the pike. We're not going away. We multiply. Sorry. Again, this is him ignoring the fact. Rudy said, "Tag your man." Skip Bayless.
Shout out Rudy.
That is weird.
Yeah, could he not find it? Did he try to search Skip? Gave up and said, "Fuck it, bro." Skip.
Nah.
I ain't gonna lie though, Stephen A has been extra defensive lately. I think there was one clip JJ Redick was on First Take, and they were just talking about new media. If you've seen Draymond Green's Twitter, he's been talking about the new media a lot. And there's been multiple times already where Stephen A's been defensive of old media, talking about we're not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get rid of us. stuff like that. So I feel like there is some level of insecurity with Stephen A. Smith. But at least when it pertains to what KD said, I think ESPN and social media, I'm gonna be honest, is just a bigger culprit here. We want content every fucking day, every hour, every second. And Stephen A. Smith is tasked to provide a lot of that content for ESPN. So he's gonna have bad takes a lot now because of how much they overuse him. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and then you'll get a comment like this kind of where then he's the birth man of fucking other platforms. It's just like he can't win. He can't win. If he goes off the face of content for like a week, now it's like, where's Stephen A? Where's Stephen A? You even see it on YouTube, right? Where if you don't upload in 2 days, people lose their shit. Yeah. So it's fucked up. It's fucked up. And I understand his insecurity, but at the same time, some of the shit he says is just like, oh wow. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that if I had to talk about sports every goddamn day.
To be honest with you, the conversations he has, those like they happen. It's just he has a platform. So it's I wouldn't.
Yeah, it like all.
There's a bunch of producers behind the scenes setting up every segment, what questions to ask, and they just sit there and answer it. Like he probably has input to what some segments are, but at the end of the day, there's producers in the back and on that shit. So.
And all of us would agree. People don't know what kind of content they want anyway. You would think nobody would give a shit about that. What was y'all saying? Draymond and Jaylen Brown? Yeah, you would think nobody give a shit about that. But then if that was on television, it's like, what the fuck? Like he can't win. He can't win. So
my only thing is like, and I actually think that they are fearful. Stephen A. and Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. I remember when like people stopped doing interviews and stuff like that, and like the Jackie McMullins and shit, the people of that nature, they started to get real offended. And I can see that now with what's going on in today's day and age, where they're not only not talking to you, they're up and starting different platforms without you completely. I think that the only reason that they still go on there is to push their own shit. Like I think JJ is on there to push his own podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say they got real lucky that JJ didn't use this to just like, and granted, he still uploads on his podcast, but if JJ was either A, plugging his podcast crazy, or B, was just a temporary guy there and went right back to the podcast, that could have been bad. But
I think he goes on there. I think he goes on there. Not in again, I don't think it in a malicious way. He goes on there. Hey, I'm gonna come over here, dunk on you real quick, and then you're gonna be, oh shit, I want to hear more JJ Redick. He's dunking on these guys. He's making more sense. He knows basketball. And now you're turning to his podcast, the Pivot Podcast. What's it called? The I Am Athlete, the Knuckleheads Podcast. You're turning to all these things as opposed to, oh, well, let me hear what Skip Bayless has to say, or Stephen A. has to say, Shannon Sharpe has to say. Who are them niggas on Fox for football? Michael Strahan and
Nick
Tony. Not Tony Kornheiser. No. I'm talking about the ones that do the Sunday football games. I'm drawing.
Irvin still do it?
Yeah,
Michael Irvin. No, he's on. I thought it was on CBS.
Is he
with Joe?
I don't know.
They move around a lot.
Who are them the old white quarterbacks that are on Fox?
John Elway.
It's not John Elway. It's not.
I'm surprised these names are even coming up.
Sit this one out. Sit the football.
I'm trying.
Elway's an owner.
Yeah. Sit that one out. Sit that one out.
I know what you're talking about too.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Wait, Terry Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw, Terry Bradshaw, and them old
There we go.
Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, Jimmy Johnson.
Tip of my tongue.
Yeah, get them old guys pushing that in there. Like get those guys out of there, bro. Like it's time. It's time. Yeah. Let me get the rest of these in here. Chris says, as a person who used to defend KD somewhat for his move, he makes me hate him more and more every day. Anyways. Omar, is Lowe really your brother? I don't even know how you got that from what we just saw from Kevin Durant. I thought KD was like speaking out on them. They do make it worse. They truly do make basketball discourse worse. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
half of it's not their fault, but the other half, yeah, because I guess you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility on what you put out there, kind of like how us, if like the one thing, and I was gonna bring it up off air for Souls and Sage especially. Word to the dog. See, that's how I know I'm spitting. But like for us, for our podcast, but especially on Souls and Sage, whenever we have a clip, I don't know if y'all check the short comments, but a lot of times things without explanation, people will take and they just run with saying we don't know this or we're talking about some bullshit there. And
You
it's
check
just
the
like
shorts comments.
I do, and you shouldn't.
Get a job. Get a job.
And that's
man.
what I'm saying. You really should. It's my job. You should not check them because that's where, like, I'd have to imagine Stephen A. and Skip dealing with their 2-hour show and getting a 6-minute video put out, and that 6-minute video is fucking their whole take up and shit. So,
I think the thing to combat that though is like Skip Bayless and Stephen A. have self-admitted like, yo, we're really in control of our shows. I think Stephen A. was recently on the Pivot podcast. He was like, yo, you know, we have the liberty to take what's supposed to be 10-minute segment and make it a 56-minute segment if it's getting enough conversation. So they can get their points off. Us on this podcast, I be telling people that us on this podcast, it will have to be a 3-hour podcast in order for us to really get it off. We don't have that time. In a shorts is 60 seconds maybe. You don't have all that time.
And
they can make it that much time. They can make it that much time, and then Stephen A. can get his black ass up, go to his radio show, talk about the same shit, and then get his black ass up, and then go watch NBA on ESPN and say the same stuff. I'm not trying to hear that he don't got time to get a real point across. I don't want to hear that.